You know, I want to talk about this latest propaganda video from ISIS. Listen, these guys have been extraordinarily successful with this kind of stuff because they know how to hit the hot button issues. In this one, they talk about veteran suicide rates, race relations in this country, even the failures of government, knowing how much we all hate government. It's a tactic that's lured thousands of Westerners. And I want you to take a look at this picture. You guys remember this teen? She fled from Austria last year. She became the poster girl for ISIS. Well, there are reports out in the last 24 hours or so that she was beaten to death for trying to escape ISIS in Syria. So, Morten, should the West fight fire with fire? Should we be showing a picture of this beautiful young lady who, for whatever reason, thought ISIS was the way? She joined them, she tried to back out, and she was beaten to death. How much should we tell American kids and Western European kids this could be your fate?
Well, it is their fate. I know as a fact that many European Muslims traveled to Syria and Iraq to join up with ISIS, and some of them disagreed with the actions and got executed because they wanted to leave. So this is what they do. It's a one-way ticket. Those who travel over there and end up, doing atrocities against humanity, and then finding out that they didn't want this, they're going to get killed.
What do you think, Charlie? I mean, this is the woman. Like, if I'm on the edge, if I'm some kid, maybe for whatever reason things haven't gone my way, I'm not popular. We came here as Muslims from another country. If I see this though, I get like cold feet.
Well, I don't know anything about the woman. She sounds like she has a Slavic last name, so maybe she's a European Muslim.
I think they immigrated there.
Yeah, they immigrated there from maybe Albania or Macedonia or something. So already there's she's Muslim and she's radicalized. What's interesting about the European Muslims? A lot of them, and I know them in the U.S. They're very secular. I know a lot of Albanians in the U.S. who are Muslim, but they're secular. It's interesting that ISIS is having that type of pull on European Muslims who are normally secular, that they can recruit. And if you can recruit people that are generally Muslim but secular and not radicalized, and right off the bat.
But doesn't it make it easier for them though, Charlie? Think about this woman who blew herself up in the police raid. She was the sister or cousin of the mastermind. And she was westernized to a certain degree.
Yeah.
She drank, she took provocative photographs. But there's never been an attempt by the West, in my mind, or at least that I can see, that goes out and says, actively tells these kids, these young adults, don't join, this is your fate.
Listen, we can do it two ways, or we can do a combination. We can go out and basically try to tell kids not to do this. We can educate people. Or we could go out and we could start killing them and say, if you do join them, you're going to die. Maybe we should do a combination of both.
I like that.
But clearly, what needs to be done is a degree of education and a degree of death. They need to be destroyed. And, listen, rules of engagement of the Obama administration. Talk to any Marine who's been in the battlefield, and the sort of hoops you have to jump through to kill the enemy is pretty amazing. And I'll tell you, that's stopping us from bombing the hell out of them, doing what Donald Trump said that we should do, is bomb the crap out of them.
I put a poll on Twitter about an hour ago. President Obama is saying that there's no credible threats or plots against us. 97% of the folks who have taken that poll, and it's over 400 people already, say they do not trust President Obama. They do not believe that there are no plots against the homeland. Only 3% do. Morten, I would suspect you're with the 97%. I mean, the Americans understand something is wrong. There's got to be terror cells here waiting for their orders.
Of course, there's lone wolves. We know they're lone wolves there. ISIS and Al-Qaeda, there's too. We don't have to only look at ISIS. Al-Qaeda is still out there. There are still people who are inspired by the ideology.
Yeah.
They're inspired by the Quran. They're inspired by the Hadith in these books. And that inspired the people to commit these
and let's be clear, President
crimes.
Obama, let's be real clear here. President Obama is being very cute. No credible threat. I am telling you, if you talk to any FBI agent, anybody anybody in law enforcement, they will tell you every day they are picking up leads, they are thwarting threats. Now, when he says credible threat, there must be some sort of legalistic definition of what credible threat is, meaning it's going to happen within 3 minutes. But clearly, James Comey said himself, didn't he say this the other day? What am I missing? He's the head of the FBI, said they're foiling threats every day. So when he says there's no credible threat right off the bat, there's a huge degree of spin there.
Absolutely, guys.